I really think Sakamoto Days with episode 7 proved the haters wrong. Now, the die-hard haters of this anime, I think will remain to, stick to the lane that they've chose. And while there's definitely some people who are just reasonably disappointed, not really lumped in with the haters, so if you're a reasonable person, you know this doesn't apply to you, because sometimes you just don't like things, and that's okay. But the people foaming at the mouth that this is an abomination of an anime, how dare they take a piss on the manga, right? I truly think after watching this episode, if those same people are still feeling that way, it's very clear they don't hate the animation, which is basically the big thing people have been talking about, because the choreography in this episode was fantastic, and the animation was fantastic. And I think a lot of people don't differentiate between art direction and animation, because yes, if you look at still images in any of the shot in this episode, is it going to look like some of the panels that people are floating around online? No. But that's usually the case with any moving anime. But could it be better? 100%. But when I'm watching a man on a bike, popping wheelies, flipping that bad boy around, smacking people in the face, blowing up, or the actual fights that we were getting later in the episode once we got into the museum stuff, like that dinosaur fight, I think could have been a 3D abomination mess, but it was clean. And if you really go frame by frame, they're not really taking shortcuts this episode really at all. There's so many points where you could have done a lot more close-ups to kind of like avoid having to animate stuff. No, like we're getting full-ass movements and full connecting of the dots. We're not skipping from keyframe to keyframe. Like the in-between frames were going very, very hard. And I think, it's no wonder this is breaking records on Netflix. Like, your average person isn't terminally online. They're gonna have no idea that people don't like this. Because when it clicks with the masses are going to look to the person next to him and be like, yeah, that was pretty good, right? Yeah, can't wait for the next episode. It's like a movie or a video game. People can say what they want online and try to cancel the show or say it deserves better, reboot it. But at the end of the day, when episodes are this freaking good, it's no wonder people are coming back week after week. And this is around the time that you would see a lot more nosedives in terms of viewership numbers. Yet every week I see Netflix report just how crazy this is doing. Like, this episode was great. I will die on that hill. If you are a reasonable person who just didn't actually like it and isn't foaming at the mouth saying people have to, like, screw this, you're doing a disservice to yourself, or like, listen, if you're a normal person, obviously doesn't apply to you. But I've seen some ridiculous takes when it comes to the Sakamoto Days anime, and it's insane. But the one thing is, it's nice to have a show that maybe at face value the internet's pushing back against in terms of any discussion, but it clearly is shattering records, and that's all that matters, because that means we're gonna get multiple seasons of this bad boy. And to be honest, at this point, if it's looking like I'm seeing with episode 7, I don't need any better. Maybe I'm easy to please, as some people will say, but at least I'm having fun with the Sakamoto Days anime. That's all that matters. But of course, if you want to see my full thoughts and excitement to these amazing Sakamoto Days, we got the full live reactions. If you want to support my work, we got them exclusively over on Patreon if you're so interested. So, might go as far to say my favorite episode right now. I'm liking what they're doing with the build-up of Shin, but most importantly, rather than just giving us a sad backstory, which I do think there's an element of sorrow there with someone who clearly feels a little like, okay, people don't trust me because I can read their minds, right? It's a reasonable assumption, like, man, people must not really think they have privacy around me. But I thought they were going to build into, oh, he comes from this very shitty place and, therefore, sad backstory time. No, he actually seems to have a decent connection with this group. Unfortunately, there's a hostile takeover for the past year. You have a dude who wears a very detailed deer mask. It's like if Beastars got a live adaptation, like that's kind of the Uncanny Valley vibe it gave me. It just like, it was almost like one step away from a jump scare. Yeah, they're clearly doing some shady shit, and we're going up against someone with a bunch of needles that can move like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like initially when he poked Shin in the back of the neck, it looked like he didn't pierce the skin. I thought Shin moved so fast that it just grazed him. Nope. He did it. Immediately overwrites his vocal abilities. So this dude's fast. I'm not sure if they're implying he's defeated, because Sakamoto did come out of that locker looking like a Minecraft character, like a Minecraft villager, with how his face got like squished into a rectangle and knocked him out. I assume what's gonna happen is next week is he's gonna rise from the rubble and like push one of those syringes down and is going to turn into a new form, but maybe he is just done. I just doubt it personally, but at the same time, given that two of the assassins who were sitting at that table in recent episodes saying we gotta go kill Sakamoto, I mean, we do have other people we need to fight, so maybe he is down for the count. I don't know, but either way, crazy bastard to put it nicely. Very fun episode though. Like, they had so many moments I was like, okay, that's just cool. So you have like the falling out scene with Shin and Liu, who it makes sense. Like, basically, I didn't give you permission to read my thoughts. Like, you're invading my privacy. I'm like, yeah, he kind of is. But you can see that they both care for each other. It's just, unfortunately, both when they're like, okay, you can apologize now. They would have just fought if they actually were there. But it's very clear they like each other. But yeah, our boy has, you know, some stuff to work through, given that, yeah, maybe he does need to value privacy a bit more. Also build that trust that people do believe that he won't invade their privacy. But then you get kidnapped and you get this very fun scene on the road where literally, like, we're beating people up, their bikes are flipping on them, blowing them up. Shin at one point snaps a man's neck. It was chaos. And yeah, there was a couple of moments where the animation, I was like, damn, like, go back and watch that again. Wheelie, back, like, the whole tire smack to the face scene, it looked really cool. But yeah, the dinosaur stuff was, like, my favorite, because watching it, I'm like, okay, at face value, the art direction, it's not the cleanest looking thing ever, but it's consistent. It may not be hyper detailed like, oh my god, you freeze frame and you think that's the best looking anime of the season. But when you watch it in actual motion, you're like, okay, insanely consistent, no sloppy 3D, and if anything, it actually has amazing choreography. And that's what's, I think, the most infuriating thing. And I think probably why most people aren't really feeling the same passion, to put it nicely, that some people are talking about the show online, because you watch it and you say like, yeah, that's not ugly, that's actually pretty well produced. I don't know, man, like it's weird. It's such a weird experience, because usually when I have such a different opinion than the average person talking about Sakamoto Days online, I'd see nothing but negativity. Like, similar to like an Ubo Blot as an example. But no, like it's weird. It's almost like, yeah, it's the silent majority enjoying the show and just disappointed manga readers. And like I said, if you're the normal manga reader who just doesn't like it, and you're like, yeah, this is why I don't like it, but, you know, is what it is, you're a reasonable person. Doesn't apply to you. But the fact that it just feels like what happens is, like, all the forums or comment sections or threads get overrun by people who point out a singular panel and say, why doesn't it look like that? And I'm like, I don't know, man, because it's in motion, but it still looks pretty damn good to me. And the excuse is always, well, you're just easy to please. And it's like, I don't really see that as a bad thing if I'm having fun like the masses. I thought this was the best episode, man. I really think it proves the haters wrong, and I'm excited to see where the second half of the show is going to go. The amusement park kind of set expectations that arcs could be longer than we associate, so even though it feels like this could be over in an episode, I could also see 2 or 3 more episodes given the new fights that are approaching our characters. You let me know your thoughts, though, down below. What are you thinking of Sakamoto Days, especially after this episode? Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got the Legend of Sora 73, Shadow, Askar, Floxer, The Myth, Armanta, Kev, and we also have Joanne. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.